Welcome to another edition of Bardo's Breakdown. I'm your host, Stephen Bardo. This one will be shorter because I've got to be at Wintrust Arena this evening for Mercer at DePaul on FS2, not FS1. So I think there's another game on at the same time. But I wanted to come on a little early to give you a little flavor, a little taste. If you want to join the tribe, you could text me 312-847-2739 or go to bardostribe.com and get your free copy of Guide to the New Big Ten. Everything you need to know, all the restaurants, all the bars, all the cool spots on each campus of the ever expanding Big Ten Conference. So make sure you go get your copy, your free copy of Guide to the New Big Ten, and you'll be included into the tribe newsletter. Shout out to James Coomer, tribe member that alerted me today. I've sent my newsletter out and I had Ty Rogers transferring. I meant to say Ty Rogers redshirting. So thank you, James, for that. I was able to send another email out soon after that, as soon as James hit me up. James is on the text and the newsletter, so he's a true tribe member. So James Coomer, thank you very much for that assist. I really appreciate you, because if I didn't get that next one out, who knows what folks have been calling me like, oh, you know something that we don't know. Ty Rogers not transferring. He's redshirting, not transferring. Okay. Now I got that out of the way, but consider doing that. And also, guys, show me some love on YouTube. Bardo Media on YouTube. Like, share, and subscribe to the channel and share the content. I think that there are a lot of Big Ten fans that may not know that this exists. If you know of any, please share Bardo Media on YouTube. I really, really appreciate it. All right. We got the first week of college basketball in the books. It's a pretty good one for the conference. For the most part, teams did what they were supposed to do. The biggest win for the conference, I think, was Ohio State over 19th ranked Texas. They led wire to wire. Did a fantastic job of limiting what Texas was trying to do in terms of their length and athleticism. Texas is long and skilled and talented, and they've got a young freshman who is supremely talented. And I'll bring his name up here once I can get to this game. Hold on, because I want to give him some love, because this dude, Ohio State did a good job, but they couldn't do nothing with Trey Johnson. Freshman, 6'5", 6'6", wing, 29 points. He took 20 shots to get him, but boy, he was sensational. But they locked down everybody else. Bruce Thornton was excellent, 20 points himself. And again, Ohio State led wire to wire against a ranked opponent, and they've got another ranked opponent from Texas A&M, that they'll face later on this week. But kudos to the Buckeyes for that big win. Northwestern goes to Dayton and loses 71-66. They were without their best player, Brooks Barnheiser, who's out with an injured foot. Good contributions all the way around. A pretty competitive game, but Dayton is a tough place to play. Dayton is, in my opinion, I love that place. I love the University of Dayton program. I love the fan base and the knowledge base of the fan there in Dayton, Ohio. Great venue. There's a reason why the NCAA has their first four there every year, because they know how to put on basketball events. The surrounding community gets behind those events. But I like that home and home with Northwestern and Dayton. Dayton came to Northwestern last year, and the Wildcats got them. So Dayton returns the favor. No loss there. I mean, not a huge loss for the Wildcats, especially without your best player. The Wildcats have plenty of opportunities to right the ship on their resume come tournament time. But Nick Martinelli continued to clown. If you guys remember last week, I said he was one of my breakout players. He, Bryce Williams, and John Blackwell. Well, Bryce Williams went off this week as well, averaging 18 in the two games that Nebraska won. John Blackwell is starting point guard. I was a little surprised at that. He started the last game. I was just watching it yesterday. Yeah, it was yesterday. got him starting at the point guard position. I was a little bit surprised by that because I think John is better slated on the off guard position. But, Greg Gard knows his team better than I do. And so John is starting at the point, and then Kamari McGee came in as of yesterday. Let me pull that up just to make sure. They beat Appalachian State, 87-56. John Tanjay led them in scoring, but they were pretty balanced. Were the Badgers in that win, but John Blackwell is still doing his thing. But two of the three breakout candidates really clown. Nick Martinelli ends up being the Big Ten Player of the Week. So Northwestern loses that one. Michigan loses a tough one to Wake Forest. I watched this wire to wire. Michigan had pretty good control of the game, but they were really loose with the basketball in the most inopportune times. Roddy Gale Jr. tries to turn the corner. I think it was just under a minute. He loses the ball, and it's almost like a pick six. He's at the top of the key, so the defense wasn't allowed to get back. The steal happens, and the guy from Wake Forest goes in for a dunk, and that was a winning 2 points in the game. But the thing that kind of surprised me, Danny Wolf, after coming off of a really impressive debut for Michigan, he really struggled in this game. 2 of 6 from the field, 0 of 3 from 3, 4 points, 4 assists, 2 rebounds at 7 foot. That's not going to get it. He played 26 minutes, only 2 rebounds, but he had 6 turnovers. So while we were lauding, showering praise on his passing ability as a 7-footer, he's got to shore up and be stronger with the basketball. There were a number of times that Michigan was in the post or making a move, and Wake Forest defenders would slap down and take the ball out of their hands. I was a little surprised by that. So they were very loose with the basketball. I believe they ended up with 16 or 17 turnovers, and some of them were really costly down the stretch because, again, they had the lead, I thought, for the better part of the second half, and just, Wake Forest's kind of tenacity, grittiness showed up when it needed to, and the length on the wing and the length up front kind of bothered Michigan. Vlad Golden was pretty good, 3 of 5 from the field. I think he ended up with 8 points. He's just not getting enough touches, in my opinion. So some of those guys, some of the Michigan Wolverines struggled in that game. Very winnable game for them. They're going to look back at that, and I don't think it'll hurt them for the tournament. I think they're a tournament team, but they'll look back and hopefully learn from this experience because they definitely let this one go. All right, Big Ten Player of the Week, Nick Martinelli. He dropped 32 and 14 in the loss at Dayton. Averaged 29 points per game in the 2 games this week. Averaged a double-double because in his first game he had 26 and 10. So Nick Martinelli coming out of the box, as you heard it on Bardo's breakdown, as a breakout candidate in the Big Ten. And he's certainly starting the season off that way. Your Big Ten Freshman of the Week, Will Riley, sets a freshman debut with 31 points versus Eastern Illinois. Comes back and plays pretty well against SIUE. He's getting bulldogged a little bit on the defensive end, but you would expect that, being a freshman and, starting the process of getting stronger, working with Adam Fletcher. It will come. It's going to take some time. But I thought he didn't force many shots, play within the flow of the game. But against Eastern Illinois, he got on a heater, and it was fun to watch. 31 points. So remember now, guys, I'm not comparing him to Adam Miller, but you guys remember Adam Miller, I think he dropped 28 in his freshman debut against Ohio. And, we know how that story ended. I'm just saying, give this guy a chance, because I saw something online where they was like, well, should Will Riley start? No, not if Brad doesn't want him to. Let the coaches do what they do best. Let them coach. Let them put who they feel like needs to be on the floor at what time. They spend all the time around them. They're in practice with them. They know the personalities. They know whether these guys are doing what they're supposed to do or not. And maybe Will Riley might be a guy that's better suited coming off the bench. We don't know. He may start at some point, but let's not start to conjecture and all this BS. And I know maybe I'm not a traditional fan in the sense that that since I've played, I don't get caught up in the BS of, oh, should this player be playing more? Nah, you hired a coach and the staff, let them do their job. I guess some fans want to get into the conjecture and all that crap. I don't do all that. He had 31. I mean, what if he started? He'd had 40. I mean, come on. So I don't know. It's just a pet peeve of mine. And if you fans like that kind of thing, that hey, more power to you. You're probably not gonna hear it here because I don't really second guess coaches because I've been in that scenario. I've been on teams for a better part of my life, and so I know the intricacies that the fans will never see. They don't know. The coaching staffs know these guys better than sometimes their parents know them because these players will share things with coaches that they wouldn't share with their parents. So have trust in your coaching staffs. Understand that there's a process to all of this, that Will Riley will more than likely be a starter at some point, but the young man is coming out balling. I mean, that game he had against Eastern Illinois was fantastic. It was fun to watch, and it's going to be fun to see his maturation because according to Tyler Underwood, he's very intelligent. He picks up on things very quickly. You don't have to tell him twice. So if he's going to pick up on things like that through film study, through experience, through going through practice, through getting stronger, everything is going to happen when it's supposed to happen. Okay? All right. Games to watch this week. So tomorrow, Michigan State at Kansas. That's that annual deal. And hold on. Is it Duke and Carolina? No, it's not Duke and Carolina. What am I talking about? Hold on. It is hold on, guys. Bear with me. I will get this up here in a second. It is the other one. Where is the other one? Oh, Kentucky and Duke. I was going to say Duke and North Carolina. I knew it wasn't that. Man, North Carolina and Kansas had a heck of a game. But did you see Auburn and Houston? If you have not seen that game, go back and watch that game. Supposedly, and I know this didn't happen, but they're saying there were two guys on the Auburn flight, the original flight. Most of you have already heard this. Auburn's original flight to Houston had to be turned around and they went back and landed, put two players off the plane and then flew back. There were supposedly guys that got into a fight. It was an argument. And what happens is if you're someone that is not exposed to young black males that play college basketball, you don't know the level of which we communicate. Our voice and the level at which we talk is louder than almost anybody else. And so unless they were fighting, which the reports are that there was no punches or anything thrown, they just got loud. The flight staff freaked the hell out. It was like, oh God, we got a melee in the back. No, it was two guys that got into it. Maybe there was a teammate that had to separate them. From the reports that I get, there were no punches thrown. I haven't seen anything that suggests there was anything in terms of physical, but they were challenging each other. These are young guns who are going at each other, right? Loud talking, everything. That's how young black males talk. All right. That's how they get agitated, right? And our voices elevate. So what I'm thinking happened was that you hear this loud commotion and guys like, hey, wait, get back. They think they're fighting. And again, the reports I saw, they weren't fighting. There was a disturbance. Coach Pearl puts them off the plane. They go back and they go to Houston and beat that behind. Houston is generally known as the most physical team in college basketball. The Auburn Tigers are the most physical team in college basketball. They physically whipped Houston. They held LJ Cryer and Sharp. I think they were 8 for 23 combined. They were face guarding LJ Cryer. Roberts had a pretty good game, but the other big was hurt. Not Tugler, I think, was hurt. Um, but Auburn was fantastic. That was a great college basketball game. I mean, look, if they're gonna be like that, I need to watch Auburn. And I know you Illinois fans don't like to hear all that because you don't like Bruce Pearl. But I'm gonna tell you something. They got a squad this year. They have one of the best teams in the country because the way they handled Houston. Oh, it was a thing of beauty. I'm sorry, it was Saturday, 74-69. And guys, there was a star born. This incoming freshman class around the country is one of the best we've seen in a long time. This kid, Tahad Pettiford, 21 points, including 5 threes. He was magnificent against the Houston pressure. He was not fazed. A New Jersey kid, played with a toughness, played with swag, left-handed. Oh, he was tough. I mean, hit some big threes. Janai Broome lived up to his All-American status, got at 20 points, and every time Auburn needed a bucket down the stretch, they got it. They got it in the post. They got a clean look from the three. Bruce Pearl's Auburn Tigers are going to be a team to be reckoned with. And Houston is really good. Houston's one of the top teams in the country. They were without, again, that Tugler. Wait a minute. Let me get this right because I don't think that's right. I don't think that's his name. What you guys was it Javier Francis? Maybe Francis might have been the one that was injured. They were without one of their bigs. Jawan Roberts played well. LJ Cryer struggled because of Auburn's defense, but Auburn was spectacular. That was a great college basketball game. There were several. UNC Kansas was an excellent game. Auburn Houston. Baylor Arkansas was a good game. Baylor, after getting smacked in the first game at Gonzaga, they came back, threw a zone on Arkansas the whole game. They played zone. Unexpectedly, Calipari said it in the post-game press conference. They threw a zone on them. They didn't expect it the whole game. But Baylor looked good. Norshad Omir, grown a man. Just deboed Arkansas's front line all game long. A fantastic game, a big win for them. So a lot of good games. But this week coming up, y'all, look at Friday. Yours truly with Noah Eagle on the 1s and 2s on Peacock, Arizona, Wisconsin. I know Robbie Humble's going to be on Alabama at Purdue. I don't know who he's with, but I'm almost certain that he's on that game. TCU at Michigan. Going to be another opportunity for the Wolverines to bounce back after their loss against Wake Forest. Marquette at Maryland. Cam Jones is an early candidate for National Player of the Year. He has moved into the point guard position seamlessly with the graduation of Tyler Kolek, who's off to the New York Knicks. And Cam Jones, he's one of the smoothest operators you're going to find. Marquette at Maryland is going to be a fantastic opportunity for Maryland, right? Derek Queen has come out of the gate very, very strong. Rodney Rice, I believe, had 27 points in Maryland's win. So Gillespie, Rice on the perimeter. You got Derek Queen, Juju Reese up front against Ben Gold, Cam Jones. What's the wing's name? That Chase. It'll come to me in a second, but that's going to be a really good test for the Maryland Terrapins, and that could be a resume builder. And then Ohio State has to go to Texas A&M, who I think Texas A&M is nationally ranked. So the Buckeyes get yet another chance to beat up on a team from the state of Texas. All right. Let me get to your questions real quick because I can't stay on too long because I got to get ready for this game tonight. Oh, that must be Carol. No worries, Carol. Don't worry about that. I saw that you tried to call. I was already long gone. Big Ten Freshman of the Week, Will Riley. KJ is constant. Yes. Kasparis Yakushionis is a constant triple double threat because he has a rock in his hands, high usage, but he's a great passer. So fun to watch. So impressed with our newcomers, particularly the freshmen. Yes, fly line at fly. They look good. They look really good. Oakland Wednesday will probably not be the biggest test for the Illini, based on the fact that Oakland is going to be a work in progress because they got a totally new team. And what happens with Oakland is they get good through conference play. They struggle in non-conference because they go out and play a very challenging schedule, but they come back and they struggle in the non-conference slate. They still try to work out that funky zone. It's like an amoeba zone where it just looks different. You just have to take your time. But Illinois, with the ability to pass, they share the rock very well to the Illini. I don't think they'll have any problem with Oakland. So they won't really get pushed in that one. But then they have on the 20th, let me get my dates right here. Yeah, week from Wednesday, Illinois steps in weight class big time with number 2 ranked Alabama. And Illinois will have some advantage because Alabama plays Purdue this week, Friday. So Illinois will be watching that one very closely. And so they have a whole week between the Oakland game and when they have to go to Birmingham to play Alabama on November 20th. So be fun to watch. 4 turnovers is a big guy. I think you're referring to, you're talking about, Danny Wolf. Here's the thing. 3 turnovers, okay. 4, yeah, it's a little bit much. But 6, and so what happens, guys, Danny Wolf is one of the guys that is green lighted to handle the rock. So he's going to be making a lot of plays. He's an excellent passer. He's an excellent ball handler. But 6 turnovers, you can't do that. And so he's not a traditional post player. He's not a traditional guy he's much more comfortable facing up. Now, he can put his back to the basket, put you in the bucket. He's got moves now, but I think he's one of these hybrid 5s. I like to call hybrid centers, hybrid 5s, that he's more comfortable facing, putting it on the deck, doing his thing like that. And so he's an excellent passer, but Dusty May told me in shoot around, he wants to hit the home run all the time. He doesn't always just want to make the hockey assist, give it up to Trey Donaldson, let Trey Donaldson get the assist. He's kind of the guy that wants to make the assist. So 6 turnovers, they'll work that out. They'll work that out. Oh, what's up, Don Green? Good to see you. My son is a Dayton alum, and Malachi Smith, Dayton's point guard, grew up where I grew up in the Bronx. Yeah, he was hurt last year. Was it ACL, Don, I think? So whenever Dayton plays, I root for them. I was excited for the win. Yeah, Dayton's a good team. Anthony Grant does an excellent job with them. That's what's up, Don. I'll keep an eye on Malachi Smith. I know he's an integral part of what Dayton is trying to do. Come on, AVPDS. He's referring to Daniel Jacobson is out for the year. I believe he tore an ACL. I really feel bad for the guy. And I don't like to make fun of injuries. So big ups to Daniel Jacobson's quick recovery, my man. And it might be a blessing in disguise, guys, because Burgess now gets a chance to play. Raleigh Burgess, I believe, is a freshman big that will get more time. Will Berg is a solid post player for Purdue. I was really looking forward to seeing Daniel Jacobson and his progression. So hopefully he can really go back to the drawing board, get himself stronger, rehab that knee properly, and really emerge himself into the Purdue culture and see what things are expected, watch things from the sideline, and get back to being with his teammates. UCLA loss, will be lucky to make the tournament. Turney told you. How much did the first week impact your thoughts of the top of the Big Ten? We'll be lucky to make the tourney told you. We're 2 games in to a 30-plus game season. Slow your roll, partner. Slow your roll, right? Let's um hold on. Let's pull this up. Since you so gung ho that UCLA lost to a New Mexico team, right? A New Mexico team with a hold on, with a point guard that's one of the best in the country. And from Mick Cronin's own mouth, he said that they being UCLA was not prepared uh, for New Mexico for whatever reason. I don't know if they weren't physically ready. Where the heck is that game? Was it Friday night? Yes. Okay. So Donovan Dent is one of the best point guards in the country. Now, I think he had a crazy stat line. I think UCLA forced him into something like 9 turnovers or something. I think I know I read that somewhere. Yes, Donovan Dent. He ended up with 17 points, 8 assists, but 9 turnovers, right? But Tyler Bilodeau balled out, 23 points and 15 rebounds. I specifically told you about him in the offseason. Now, Dylan Andrews had a poor game. He had 6 turnovers himself. That's not going to cut it. Sky Clark, you all know, had 6 steals, 7 points. So defensively, he was stellar. But UCLA really struggled, 5 of 23 from three-point land, only 36% from the field overall. And New Mexico in two-point land, overall 51%. So the defense did not show up for UCLA. But guys, come on now. Don't make a tournament prediction here in the first week, AVP DS, because I'm going to bring it back in your face. Hey, I don't want to come across as cheering for injuries. I promise. Carol, no problem. I appreciate you trying to reach out. If you don't catch me during the game, after those games, I try to get out of there because I get back on the road. I drove back to Chicago that evening, so I really try to get back. No, and AVPDS, it's all love, bro. I'm just messing with you, just talking stuff. Talk your stuff. All right. All right, guys. If like tonight is an interesting night because Fox has 2 games on at 8 p.m. Let me pull it up real quick. Where are we? Central Michigan at Marquette at 8 p.m. and Western Michigan at Butler at 6 p.m. So we're up against Central Michigan and Marquette. So if you're flipping around, go to FS2, Mercer at DePaul. Funny thing about the game tonight, Ryan Ritter, the head coach of Mercer, and Chris Holtman, the head coach of DePaul, had the same birthday today. And I believe they're both born in Lexington, Kentucky. How crazy is that? So, all that being said, tribe members, we're going to do a Zoom at noon for the paid tribe members. Our Zoom will be this Thursday at noon. I will send out the alerts here via email tomorrow. So we're gonna do a lunchtime thing for our weekly calls with the paid tier. I'll have kind of a short format, but I want to be able to answer every question that you have. We're going to take an hour time. Again, I'll do. We'll probably talk a little bit about the Illini game against Oakland. Talk about what's happened this week in the Big Ten. Talk about storylines and whatnot. But I'll give you time to ask all your questions during that particular time. And sometimes we'll have a surprise guest on. I'm hoping to get a current player every here and there. Hoping to get a former player here and there. But it will be worth your while. So it'd be a lunchtime deal, noon Central Standard Time, Thursday, for the paid tiers on the tribe. So if you're interested, let me pull this up. Where are my banners? If you're interested in being a part of the tribe, getting into the paid tiers, go to bardostribe.com. You'll see a pop-up window. Put your name and email address. You'll get signed up for the newsletter, and you can go on the site and look at the different paid tiers that there are. If you want to be involved, This is part of what you get from the paid tier. The highest tier, you get a personal phone call from me each week throughout the season. So that's what we offer on bardostribe.com. So go there, get your free copy of your guide to the new Big Ten, and you'll be included into the newsletter, because those of you that were on the newsletter today, you saw my thoughts on why Ty Rodgers is not transferring. He's redshirting. I made the mistake in the headline. It got people's attention. I apologize. It was not clickbait, because you guys know I don't do that. But I gave my thoughts on why Ty Rodgers decided to transfer and the timing of which he did so, which was one of the bigger question marks that I had. So if you want to be a part of the newsletter, go to bardostribe.com. If you want to be a part of a tribe via text me 312-847-2739. I think I got to everybody's comments and questions. Wait a minute. You see. Oh, okay. So Philip said, or I'm sorry, Paul says, I think, Paul, is this your first time? If it is, welcome to Bardo's Breakdown. I'm glad you're here. Thank you for tuning in. Please like, share, and subscribe on Bardo Media on YouTube. Like this live here, and share this with people who you think would benefit from this knowledge. Ty is redshirting. However, this redshirt season will ultimately result in Ty transferring. Watch where Tim Anderson lands. Ty would follow more than likely. Okay. That's a scenario I could see taking place. I could also see, if you are privy to seeing the newsletter, I also talk about a scenario where I think Ty would stay. And there's a love affair between Ty and the Illinois program, and the Illinois program with Ty Rodgers. He's a young man that you don't get in your program often, in terms of how compassionate, how nice, and it's genuine. It's not an act. He's a genuinely great young man. And I know that Brad, I'm not speaking to Jeff Alexander, the assistant, they want to do everything they can to keep him in the program. Right. And what I liked about what Brad Underwood said at the press conference when they made the announcement, he said, there's no guarantees in today's game. There's no guarantee that he won't transfer out of the program. I appreciated Brad saying that, because it's like, look, there's nothing to hide. There's nothing to hide. There was a decision made. The handwriting kind of was out there for the way that the program is going. Everybody that hits the floor for the Illini have one thing in common. I'll let you guys figure that out. Okay. So I don't want to shortchange the people who are on the newsletter, because I gave a full breakdown of this inside the newsletter. So if you want to check that out, go to bardostribe.com. But this is good here. And if this scenario plays out, Paul, I think you would be accurate. Philip, hot take season. What's your hottest take this season, 1 week in? Hot take. That Lathan Somerville will eventually be the starting center with Rutgers. This kid is talented. I'm kind of scratching my head how a 6'10" kid out of Peoria, Illinois, got so far out east, because I can't imagine he got a ton of NIL money, because a lot of that had to go to Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey. But I don't know. Maybe maybe Rutgers got it rolling like that now on the NIL tip. I don't know. But that's one hot take I know, is that Lathan Somerville, although he's coming off the bench, he did his last game, he will be the starting center for Rutgers. And with that level of athleticism and that high motor, shoot. I mean, not athleticism, game. Lathan's got game. Footwork, runs the floor hard, jump hook, and he's a confident kid, aggressive kid. He fits that Rutgers program in almost perfectly. So that's a hot take for me. Right there, Philip. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you all for tuning in, actually. Any early Early season leading score predictions. Got a ton of dudes. Well, I said that I thought Bryce Williams would lead Nebraska in scoring. He's doing that. I didn't expect Nick Martinelli to bust out like this, but Brooks Barnheiser's been hurt. So we'll see. He's still going to be effective because he was effective last year and they didn't run any plays for him. Leading score for the Illini is going to be hard because somebody's going to have their night based on the way the teams are defending them. That's how offensively versatile this year's Illini team is. I don't see a lead hunt dog like Terrence Shannon Jr. I see several dogs, guys that can go get it. Jaco Shionis being one of them. I think Ivicic will lead the team in scoring on a number of different occasions, just based on how how teams are gonna play that ball screen action. Obviously, Will Riley have an opportunity to be a leading scorer. I think Ben Humbrickhouse, if he can get hot, based on the way the teams or whatever they're trying to take away, I think Ben could be a leading scorer sometimes. But if I had to make a guess right now, I would say Jaco Shionis, because he's going to have the ball in his hands. For some reason, Kylan Boswell hasn't figured out where his shots are coming from, because he forced 2 bad looks in the second half of their game against SIUE. I was a little surprised because they were really bad decisions. And I think it's a situation where he just doesn't know where he's going to get his looks at yet. It'll come. It will come, because he was a 40% 3-point shooter last year with Arizona. Now, the way that Arizona plays is a lot different than the way that Illini play this year. He was getting a lot of kickouts because Ballo would get the ball dumped in. Teams might double team him, kick out, rotation. He's on the backside looking at an open 3. Illinois doesn't play like that. So it's going to take a little while for Kylan to find his spots. But I think that if I were to find a leading scorer for Illinois, I think it's going to be Kasparas Yakashionis. And it could very well be Will Riley, even if he doesn't start. Because the way as quickly as Will can score, one of those two, I think, would be the leading scorer for the Illini. John Tucker. How can Ben Johnson get things trending upward in Minnesota with a lack of NIL and a lack of fan support at the current moment? Great question, John Tucker. If this is your first time on Bardo's Breakdown, welcome. Like, share, and subscribe, please. The thing that is a head scratcher is because if you look at all the Big Ten programs, there are very few programs that have access to Fortune 500 companies, their headquarters, like Minneapolis does. I believe Minneapolis has 19 corporate headquarters. Let me type this in. Corporate headquarters of Fortune 500 companies are in Minneapolis. In 2024, 17 Fortune 500 companies have headquarters in Minnesota, mainly Minneapolis, St. Paul. 17 Fortune 500 companies, right? So it's incumbent upon Ben Johnson and his staff to get to that corporate community in Minneapolis and somehow get them on board, because the money is there. It's certainly there. Minneapolis is a great city. Yeah, it's cold in the winter. Yes, too cold for my liking. But I love Minneapolis, the city itself. The people are warm. They're kind. It's a lot to do up there. It's a cool place. So if Ben Johnson can find some success this season and get the ball rolling in a more positive way, I I don't see why he can't get it rolling because he's a good coach. He knows the area. He's a pretty good recruiter. Um, to get the guys to attract the players that um, Hawkins, who led the country in assists, Cam Christie, who was a one and done. Um, uh, oh, big fella that transferred to Texas A&M, who I really like. Name escapes me. Um, to get Dawson Garcia to stay at home. I mean, he's done a good job. He can recruit. So I think it's incumbent upon the University of Minnesota to figure out. I know they have a good relationship with the corporate community there because they work together a lot. But it's a great question why they don't have the NIL that I think that they could have with them being in a fertile area like Minneapolis, St. Paul. Big fan of Ty Rogers. Wishing him the best. I'll never forget his tears at the end of the Elite Eight game because he cares. He loves that program. He loves it. Hot take. And Illini wins Freshman of the Year. I think we'll be better than Rutgers this year, and I can easily see a freshman being our best player. No. You think they're going to be better than Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey? I think I don't know. Let me not say no so quickly. Let me not say that. I don't want you guys to get punch drunk on what you're seeing early. Everything is early. Okay. Uh, let's see how Kasparis and Will respond when they go up against Alabama. Let's see how Dylan Harper and Ace Bailey respond when they go up against Houston. Let's get a little bit more uh a bigger size, more information. I'm not so quick to think that one of those guys because I don't know. Let me not jump and say no so quickly. Let me think about that fly line I fly. Thank you for that. That's a thought provoking statement there. It's a strong statement. It's thought provoking. And let me think about it. Let me not just say no right off the top because the way that uh Yakashionis looks and Will Riley, and guys, Will Riley's got some holes in his game. And once he's starting to shore those up. Once he shores those up, okay. I'm not going to say what I think they are because this is information that was given to me. I can give this to the tiered members of the tribe. I can give them that kind of intel. I won't do this out like this, but there are areas of his game that he's working on. And when he gets better at that, he very well may be the freshman of the year. That I can see that. So thank you, Fly Line I Fly. You got me thinking. I appreciate that. I don't think he's having shot problems, Fly Line I Fly. I think he is trying to find where he's going to get his offense. That's different from having problems with his shot. He hasn't figured out where the shots are going to come from yet. And it's tough because Kylan's used to having the ball in his hands like Kasparis has the ball in his hands. So now he's having to shift off the ball a little bit. So it's just going to take him a little bit of time to figure it out. But he will. He will. All that's in the flow of the game, level of comfort. He'll get it. He'll get it. Boswell's a big kid. He's big. Like physically just really, really strong, especially from his rib cage to the top of his kneecaps, his core, he's really, really strong. And according to Brad Underwood, he's got really quick hands defensively. Like he's got some really, really quick hands. So pay attention to that on Wednesday versus okay, F your mother. Reek House. Yes. Major Pain is what I called him. Yes, for real pain. Thank you, Philip. Sorry to see him leave Minnesota. Your thoughts on the barn, where it ranks, and if you think they should maybe look to a new stadium to bring something fresh. Seems like kids don't care about the prestige of the barn anymore. John, I heard that. I heard that Minnesota's thinking about either doing a really big renovation to the barn or they're doing a new stadium. Honestly, I hate to say this because it's going to sound blasphemous. They probably need to get a new arena. Here's why. You're exactly right about young people. They don't care about the prestige. There are some areas in the barn that have an actual pillar in front of them. So if it's really packed, you might get that one or two seats that's behind a pillar. They get absolutely no money from suite areas. So I hate to say it, but if you're going to keep up in today's ever expanding Big Ten conference, they may want to consider just tearing down the barn and building a new arena. Gopher fans, you can come at me if you want. I get it. I get it. I'm not saying what I'd like to see because I love the barn. I love calling games there. I loved playing there. They had one of the best floors in the Big Ten. It gives. You can jump. It's not hard on your knees and your ankles. You get used to the floor being elevated for loose ball and stuff. You get used to it. It's dark. The baskets, when the game starts, it's a little darker, and so the baskets really stand out. When any point on the floor when you're looking to shoot, the basket really stands out. So from a playing perspective, from calling the games, from a nostalgia standpoint, I love the barn, but I think they should probably lean and get a new arena because here's the deal: if they refurbish it, right? I don't know what the Wi-Fi situation. I don't know, with the new technology. I don't know how well new technology can work inside of a structure that old. All those things have to be taken into consideration. But if I'm Minnesota, I'm probably going to lean on getting a whole new arena. And I know that sounds crazy. I love the barn, but that's what I think. What do you think, John? Uh, do you think we've seen the last of 4-year guys at Illinois? Yes. Yeah. Gibbs Lawhorn might be a 4-year guy. He might be a 4-year guy. I can't see anybody else though, because if Tomislav Ivicic keeps playing this way, he'll be playing professional basketball pretty soon. We know Will Riley and Kasparis Yakoshionis will, and Ben Rick House. F your mother. Thank you for that. Rick House. Um, uh, I why that I was doing that to mess with him. Yeah, Gibbs Lawhorn he might be a 4-year guy. If Ty Rodgers stay, he would definitely be a 4-year guy. But just the way that the game is going, the transfer portal with NIL, I don't think we're going to see that too much anymore. The Coleman Hawkinses of the world, I don't think you're going to see that too much anymore. Let's see. Let me get Philip here. Ivicic gave up a year of eligibility, so he's a sophomore this year. Have you ever seen that before? No, Philip, and it's garbage. How are you penalizing a young man for playing overseas in a league where he got paid? He comes to the United States. He should have all his eligibility. They make him give up a year of eligibility and players are getting paid? That's the disappointment sometimes I have with the NCAA. It's a horrible, horrible thing to take a kid's eligibility away like that. I've not seen that before, Philip, and it's hot garbage for me keeping it clean. So I don't want to get messed up with YouTube and algorithm, but that's garbage. Should never happen. Boy, F your mother is on one today. No, I'm not going to talk about that situation with the Florida coach. I'll let y'all figure that out. I'm not talking with that. Talking about that. All right, guys. Remember, go get your free copy, bardostribe.com. If you want to be on the tiered members, go to the site, sign up for one of the paid memberships, because Thursday at noon, we'll start to do those once a week Zoom calls where I'll answer all your questions. So I look forward to the tribe members that are already in there. Look forward to seeing you Thursday. Hopefully we get more. But if not, the least you want to do is sign up for the newsletter and get your free copy of the big guide to the new Big Ten. You definitely want to do that because I give different information for those people as well. Thank you, guys. Thank you, James Coomerer, for the heads up. I really appreciate you. Thank you for watching Bardo's Breakdown. I will look forward to seeing you guys. If you aren't on the, if you don't watch Mercer DePaul tonight, I will be on Big Ten Network, Oakland at Illinois, Big Ten Network, 8 p.m. Central Standard Time. Love you all. Thank you for tuning in. Until next time, holla, y'all.